Okay, here today in section 16.5, we're going to talk about medical applications of radioactivity and talk about using radioisotopes in medicine. As we've talked before, the use of radioisotopes to treat cancer is a common practice. The first radioisotope used to treat a person with cancer was at the University of California, Berkeley, and they use it to treat leukemia. Today it is widespread, used to treat lots of kinds of cancer. In 1946, radioactive iodine was used to diagnose and treat hyperthyroidism. That's where your thyroid gland in your throat is hyperactive or active above normal, and also they can use it to treat thyroid cancer. Radioactive isotopes are now used to produce images of organs. We use radiation in PET scans, and we also use some x-rays and magnetic imaging which kind of uses radiation to produce other images like CT scans and CAT scans and MRIs. Different elements concentrate in different organs based on the function of those organs. And so a radiation technologist could use a radioactive isotope of that particular element that would concentrate in an organ, so that way they could make a scan of just that particular organ. Because cells in the body do not differentiate between a non-radioactive and a radioactive isotope, radioisotopes are easily incorporated into the body, and then the radioactive atoms are detected due to their radiation emission. Here we have a chart showing some different radioisotopes and how they are used in medical applications. Note that the half-life of all of these different isotopes vary from minutes up to 17. The highest here is 74 days, but all of them have fairly short half-lives, so there are no long-term effects of the radiation. Some are used for imaging, and some are used for treatment of different types of cancer. The cesium-131 and palladium-103 are both used for prostate brachytherapy. That is the implantation of seeds, small, about the size of a grain of rice, pieces of the radioactive isotope that are implanted into the particular organ, like the prostate, sometimes used in breast cancer as well, and that then it just delivers the radiation to that organ and not into the whole body. To scan a patient that has received a radioisotope that is concentrated in a particular organ, the radiologist determines the location of the radioactivity being emitted, and often it's gamma emission, and the gamma rays can be used to expose a photographic plate, producing a scan of the organ. So much like an x-ray is used to take a picture of your bone, the gamma rays take a picture of the internal organ. Here's a scan of radioactive iodine-131, which accumulates in the thyroid. This scan here is a picture of the thyroid showing the concentration of the radioactive iodine. The remainder of the lesson, we're going to focus on scanning techniques, diagnostic techniques. One is called positron emission tomography, or PET, or PET scan. is the common name for as a PET scan. Stands for positron emission tomography. They use a positron emitter. A couple of different ones would be carbon 11, oxygen 15, or fluorine 18. Those positron emitters give off, of course, positrons, and in the body, positrons steal electrons from other sources, from other surrounding tissue, and that produces a gamma ray. And that gamma ray can be detected, giving a then three-dimensional image of the body or the brain. Here is a PET scan of the brain showing studied brain function and also metabolism. PET scans are used in cancer treatment just to look for sources of cancer throughout the body. Not using radiation per se, but CT scans, computed tomography, they apply X-rays in layers. So they take about 30,000 X-rays of the body, and then it shows, by doing this in layers, it shows three-dimensional images of the brain or other body parts showing tumors or hemorrhages. These X-rays get absorbed at different rates because of densities of body tissues and fluids. The more dense something is, the more the X-ray doesn't get absorbed by it. Here is a CT scan of a brain showing a tumor right here. It's colored in purple, so it's a rather large tumor in the brain. That's with the CT scan. The last imaging technique we'll talk about is magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. It's based on the absorption of energy by the protons in hydrogen atoms. So hydrogen atoms are in water and over 70% of your body, and then those hydrogen atoms get excited by a very strong magnetic field. The MRI machine gives off a very strong magnetic field, and the protons then align with the field and begin to resonate with a different frequency than the rest of the body, and that gets picked up by the scanner. Here is an MRI of image of the heart and then the lungs, of course, together in the body. So the images get colorized by the computer to show different areas of the body.